As mentioned, we are now 2 weeks before Gimmel Tammuz. Each of us are busy, each of us have our own moments in our life that we have, and yet in 2 weeks, if the Geula Ha'amitis V'Ashlema does not pan out, it's Gimmel Tammuz, and it's a very long time since it happened. And there are moments I can only share what works for me. There's the famous letter, famous meaning it became famous to us after Gimmel Tammuz. The letter that the Rebbe wrote on Gimmel Tammuz, Tovshin Yud, and it grounds me. It helps me focus on who we are and our hiskashus to the Rebbe, where the Rebbe very clearly writes, and if you haven't read this letter in a while, I can just suggest and encourage you to look at it and to read it. For every word there is gold. That the Rebbe describes and asks and says that so many people are looking for what is the greatness of the Rebbe. What makes the Rebbe so special? There's a genius, a Baal Mesiras Nefesh, tremendous midas, a tzaddik, a Baal Ruach HaKodesh, etc., etc., and especially how each of these functions and each of these characteristics are explained in Chassidus and how great each one of these is. But the Rebbe writes that the main point is missing when we start to categorize all of these ideas. Because we must remember, and this sort of speaks on a very real level, we must remember that the Rebbe is our Rosh, the Rebbe is our head, the Rebbe is our mind, and from the head and from the mind is the Moker HaChayus, it's the source of life to every single part of the body, to each one of us. And in the Rebbe's words, that who is the Rebbe? The Rebbe enumerates the mashpia b'pnimius u'b'makif, that the hashpah, that the Rebbe's influence on us is with authenticity and with enthusiasm. And it's in every part of our life, of our ruchnisdike life, of intera avedu gmilas chasadim. Not only beruchnis, but also begashmis. That in every single detail of our life, the Rebbe is mashpia. And here comes the Rebbe's words. Ubimela hoya hiskashusam im hashayochim alehem. And therefore, the hiskashus of the Rebbe to Chassidim is Bechol taryag eivorei nefesh v'guf ha'mekusharim. In each one of the 613 parts that make up of who we are, physically, begashmias, mentally, spiritually, every single part of us, the Rebbe is mashpia and gives us life and inspiration in every single part of us, meaning that there is no part of our life in which the Rebbe is not connected. And that's a letter from the Rebbe. To take the topic that Rabbi Gourarie spoke earlier, and to use the words and to chazer over repeat the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe, that the Frierdiker Rebbe writes about his kashrus, about our connection to the Rebbe, that obviously it entails learning the Rebbe Sichos and Maimorim, and then the Frierdiker Rebbe writes Hisorerus ahav, to awaken within us love. And the Frierdiker Rebbe writes this very clearly, that the minhag of Chassidim was in every generation, and hopefully it is so in our generation, that we would set aside time, whether every day, once a week, once in 2 weeks, or once a month. May I interject and say, certainly now when we are a few weeks before Gimmel Tammuz is certainly the right time. And what does the Friedrich Rebbe write? Lehisorer berikshe ha'ava lemoiram v'rabo. To awaken the feelings of love to the Meira v'Rebbe. And in Yiddish, the Friedrich Rebbe writes, Poshet lieb haben dem Rebbe be'ahave mudgeshes believe, to simply, basically love the Rebbe in a very tangible way in the heart, just like we have a physical love to our own family. To awaken that level of basic love to the Rebbe in a very real way. And the Rebbe and the Friedrich Rebbe writes that this, with such love, we are able to then imagine what the Rebbe is doing for us. And in the last words, that with such a type of behavior, of awakening such a love, hoyu tomid mekusharim. Chassidim were constantly connected to the Rebbe. So we have the Rebbe's letter writing about his tremendous hiskashrus to us in every detail in our life. We have the Friedrich Rebbe's words that our love is constant, always, and it takes every part of our day because we are able to awaken within us this love. There are those of us, Baruch Hashem, who are online right now that had the schus to see the Rebbe and to hear the Rebbe. There are those who were born after Gimmel Tammuz who didn't see the Rebbe Begashmis. In whichever situation we are, we need to try our best to set aside time, and there are no shortcuts, to simply be me'oyer this love and to remember what the Rebbe is doing for us. What the Rebbe did for us up until Gimmel Tammuz, and we saw it with our own eyes, or we can hear it with our own ears from people who saw it, who were there and heard it and experienced it. That the Rebbe's love is truly all-encompassing. It doesn't mean that we just wrote to the Rebbe a letter to the Rebbe and we thought, okay, if we get an answer. Sometimes we got an answer, and sometimes we didn't get an answer. Sometimes we wrote into the Rebbe for a bracha, and we didn't see the bracha materialize. We wrote in for someone who was not well, and that person didn't make it. That's how it was. But we were still calm, and there was a certain level of Esis Beseder, because it was on the Rebbe's holy table, and we knew that it was the Rebbe embraced all of us and all parts of our life. And those challenging moments and the moments that were difficult for us, in any challenge that any of us experienced, we knew for certain that the Rebbe is with us. We knew for certain that the hiskashrus wasn't only, of course, it was very important to learn there was maimah, the sichos, etc., but that the kesher, the connection, the bond to the Rebbe was in every detail in our life before Gimmel Tammuz. And there was not a single tenua in our life that we weren't calmer and didn't allow ourselves to take it to an extreme, because we knew that the Rebbe is with us. There are many, many instances and stories, but how many times did we see the Rebbe walking into a mincha, and it was obvious that minutes before the Rebbe was busy with things that were not easy, and it was noticeable on the Rebbe's face. And what were those things if not the issues that we Chassidim or Yidden had and had written to the Rebbe? And in very difficult moments, when people wrote to the Rebbe, especially, I mean, I just remember after Memches, after the Istalkus of our Rebbetzin, and we saw even afterwards what the Rebbe did and how the Rebbe didn't let go for 1 second of any one of our challenges and continually and pushed further and even more to embrace us. And when we allow ourselves into that, then we are able to live a life mit Rebbe, with the Rebbe, all the time. So Gimmel Tammuz is coming. Shloshim Shana, I don't know what Shloshim Shana means. That's the truth. I just know it's a very long time since we saw the Rebbe. And we really hope that we don't make it to Shloshim Shana. But I can just suggest that it's time that we live that life like before Gimmel Tammuz, because that continues today. So sich öffnen für ein Rebbe, to open our hearts to the Rebbe, to let it all out, to write to the Rebbe in our panim, in our tzetlach, allow the Rebbe into every detail into our life. Because when we do so, we can feel the Rebbe's embrace, and we will know that we will manage these last moments of Golus. We can manage because we know that the Rebbe is with us in every step of the way. So man zeiche sein bei Polem Hashem Dover, that we should be zeiche to see the Rebbe Melech b'yofye techazena inenu, zusammen mit dem Rebbetzen bepeil Mamash.